Let's get into resource management. All right, so we have 3 processes here. Acquire the team, when we actually get people. This could have happened in planning, by the way. We could have acquired a couple of folks while we were in planning. Just another opportunity to show you how we jump back and forth between process groups on the exam. We don't always stay stagnant in one process group. And then we'll develop the team and we'll manage a team. Now, I want you to note that develop the team is for the team, while manage the team is for individuals. I wish they would call it like manage team members. Okay. So if we think professional sports, develop the team is everybody, manage a team is working with one individual person. So let's get to acquire resources. All right, this is how we're gonna make sure that we have what we need on the project. I jumped a little, or I didn't. Here we go. So using our baseline, our cost baseline, right, the amount of money we have, and when the project is happening, the project schedule, we're gonna obtain the resources that we need. All right, so we're gonna get the people, the materials, the machines, the supplies, everything that we need during this process. All right, and depending on the structure, the PM may have direct or indirect control of the team members. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes you work in an organization where you're using internal people, and as a PM, they don't report to you, and you don't really have control over those people. And then you've hired outside vendors, and so then you're able to actually control those vendors, and they sort of report to you, if you will, for that particular aspect of the project. So with 3 processes here: acquire, develop, and manage. We're in acquire right now. And what we want to do is we want to know what physical resources will we have? Conference rooms, buildings, etc. Who's going to be assigned? And when they are assigned, when are they available? Those are the 3 specific outputs to this process. Everything else is potential. We could get change requests. We could update our approach. We could update our documents. And we could update EEFs and OPAs. The first time we've seen the ability to update EEFs. Usually out of our control, there's 3 places where they get updated. This is one of them. And if you think about it, if what the company has in terms of office space, if that's out of our control, but we were able to go in and purchase or rent a facility somewhere else, we have now updated the environment, because the environment now includes an additional workspace that we can get to go travel and commune in, right? So that's one way that the environment gets updated. Also, if you acquire new resources, you bring 1 new person on a team, you've also updated the environment. You could have had 5 people, now you have 6. Now the environment is one where the work that was divided equally amongst 5 people is now divided equally amongst 6. Also, 1 person could come in and their personality can change the entire dynamic of the personalities within the team. So we can update EEFs when we get our resources. So this is both about project team and physical resources. All right, and we'll have the descriptive details that typically would come from your resource breakdown structure, if you remember that term. That's where that would come from. And then resource calendars just say when a person is available. So for instance, most people are available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, all right? And then you'll have some people who are available only on the weekends, maybe 10 to 7. And then you'll have some machines that you can run them 24 hours. It doesn't matter what day, but you can only run them 80 hours in a week, all right? So the resource calendars will tell you when a particular resource is available. All right, then we look at change requests. These are outputs in project management or project document updates. As we acquire these resources, obviously, we may change our approach to how we, deal with the schedule or how we deal with the risk. Maybe now that we have this additional room, we're going to update our risk management plan and say that all risk activities will now take place in this room. See, not necessarily changing the project, just changing our approach, okay? And then we can also update other project documents, right? The schedule that might be impacted, right? Any lessons learned from our experiences. in order to get those outputs, we need to take the schedule, so the required resources, excuse me, not the schedule, but the required resources. Well, we would need the schedule as well, and we would need to know how much money we have. We would need the other management plans. So all those become inputs. Internal versus external resources, how that's done. Also, the unique EEFs and OPAs, we have to evaluate those. So I mentioned those earlier, in terms of EEFs, we can update them, but as we update them, we think about, are we distributed, across the globe? Or oftentimes there's a huge campus. If you've ever been on Facebook or Google's campus, just because we all work in the same campus, your building might be 2 miles over there. I can't even just walk over to your desk. I still have to call you or video conference, maybe ride a bike over there. Right? So we think about these things. We think about what the company has already that allows us to not have to reinvent the wheel when we're trying to onboard resources. But this could also be, will they get a laptop? Do they have to sign certain documentation? Can we bypass training? All of those things would be OPAs that we would think about when we onboard people. Here's our fancy term. Multi-criteria decision analysis, right? In this case, it's decision tools. And this can allow us to evaluate the different options available to us for the resources, such as like, when are they available? Where they located? Things like that. So don't overthink that word, multi-criteria. And then the tools and techniques, we could pre-assign people. When the project this could have happened at the charter. During the charter, the sponsor could have said, and by the way, I'm going to give you my very best engineers and developers. Okay, now we already know they're part of the team. So that could have happened. So again, we can jump back and forth between process groups. You could also have a virtual team. All right, so remember that even though it's your organization, maybe everybody's already meeting virtual for the exam, these are still tools and techniques of acquiring resources. Any questions? Okay. And yes, we are often negotiating with functional managers. So if you remember the org types, functional, matrix, projectized, and the problem with the matrix, the con was the conflict with the functional manager. That's the idea there.